halt everything you are doing. The information I'm about to share will either fundamentally reshape your future, or you will dismiss it and find yourself in this exact same spot a decade from now. Just 3 days ago, I watched a man spend 20 minutes justifying his position to someone who offered him zero respect, begging for validation from a person unworthy of his breath. Men like this are everywhere. Perhaps you are one. Perhaps their story feels uncomfortably familiar. Perhaps you are done with being invisible, with being undervalued, with being treated as if your presence is meaningless. You don't lack confidence because of your genetics. You lack confidence because it was systematically stripped from you. You were sculpted, molded, and conditioned to be compliant, easy to manage, and predictable. But 500 years ago, a man decoded the true principles, not the convenient lies society sells you, but the actual laws that dictate influence, power, and achievement. His name was Machiavelli, and he authored the blueprint for becoming an unstoppable force. I am talking about becoming the man who commands a room the moment he enters. The kind of man who speaks once and the ensuing silence is filled with attention. The kind of man who establishes a rule and it is never questioned. I am talking about becoming a person who is immune to intimidation, beyond the reach of manipulation, and impossible to halt. A man who earns respect without demanding it. A man who plays a different game because he exists on a higher playing dot in the next few minutes. I will deliver to you 8 principles that will elevate you from the man who is ignored to the man who is observed. From the man who pleads for respect to the man who commands it. From the man who wishes for success to the man who engineers it. But consider this your only warning. Once you learn these truths, they cannot be unlearned. Once you grasp how power truly operates, you can never return to a state of naivety. Once you become unstoppable, returning to a state of being stoppable is no longer an option. Now, I need you to drop this affirmation into the comments below. I refuse to be limited. I refuse to be stopped. Are you prepared to become unstoppable? Number 1, reconstruct your core identity. As you are right now, 2 distinct individuals reside within you. The first is hesitant, constantly apologizing, and starving for external approval. The second is decisive, self-sufficient, and commands respect effortlessly. With every passing day, you nourish one and neglect the other. Every decision you make empowers one and diminishes the other. Today, we begin starving the hesitant man and feeding the confident one. Your hesitant self is the product of your conditioning. It's the inner voice that whispers, "Be polite," when someone insults you. It's the impulse that makes you apologize when you are not at fault. It is the part of you that justifies your actions to people who should be justifying their actions to you. This programming began in your childhood. Your parents needed you to be compliant. Your teachers required you to be obedient. Society demanded that you be manageable. But manageable men do not build legacies. Manageable men are forgotten. Your hesitant self has been the architect of your life until now. It is why you permit disrespect. It is why you offer endless second chances. It is why you prioritize everyone's needs above your own. It is why you are viewing this video instead of architecting the life you desire. But here is the secret your hesitant self wants to keep from you. Every time you opt to be nice to someone who is undeserving, you are choosing to be cruel to yourself. Every time you allow someone to violate your boundaries, you are teaching them that your boundaries are meaningless. As Machiavelli wrote, "Whoever is not a master of himself is a servant to others." Your hesitant self and your confident self operate in different languages. You must learn to distinguish between them. The hesitant self says, "I don't want to cause any trouble." The confident self says, "I will not tolerate any disrespect." The hesitant self thinks, "Perhaps I overreacted." The confident self thinks, "My reaction was perfectly measured and my point stands." The hesitant self suggests, I should give them the benefit of the doubt. The confident self declares, they have already exhausted the benefit of the doubt. The reconstruction of your core identity is not a battle. It is a strategic campaign. Each time someone challenges your boundaries, your hesitant self will want to write them a paragraph explaining the boundary's purpose. Your confident self will simply enforce the boundary without a word. Each time someone disrespects you, your hesitant self will try to understand their motives. Your confident self will respond with a swift and appropriate consequence. Start monitoring which voice is dictating your choices. When you find yourself about to apologize for an offense you did not commit, that is the hesitant self speaking. When you are about to justify your worth to someone who owes you an apology, that is the hesitant self begging for approval. Reconstruct it. Not with anger, but with intention. Choose power over popularity. Choose respect over being liked. Your hesitant self will fight back. It will parade before you all the people who might disapprove of this new version of you. It will remind you of every time you tried and failed to be strong. Let it fight. Let it scream. Let it be reconstructed. Because on the other side of this process is a man who doesn't apologize for his existence. A man who doesn't justify his standards to those who don't matter. A man who commands respect because it is his nature. Reconstruct the hesitant self. Nurture the confident self. Choose power. Drop this affirmation in the comments. My hesitant self is being reconstructed. My confident self is ascending. Number 2. Build a sovereign mind. Your mind is either your most powerful weapon or your most crippling liability. Right now, it is likely a storm of chaos. Every piece of criticism lands like a blow. Every failure feels like a personal indictment. This mental vulnerability is precisely what keeps you anchored in place. Today, we construct a sovereign mind, a fortress that no external force can breach. A sovereign mind does not have emotional outbursts in response to external events. It analyzes them for strategic value. When someone criticizes you, your sovereign mind isn't wounded. It simply acquires intelligence about their insecurities. When someone lets you down, your sovereign mind isn't shocked. It receives confirmation of a previously held hypothesis. Most men are slaves to their emotions. They feel a flash of anger and make a rash decision. They feel a pang of hurt and make a weak one. They feel a wave of fear and make no decision at all. Their emotions are untamed beasts, dragging them in whichever direction they please. Your sovereign mind is different. Here, emotions are merely data. Anger signals a boundary has been crossed. Pain signals that someone's true colors have been revealed. Fear signals that you are on the verge of growth. Asterisks stop internalizing everything. When a person treats you with contempt, they are not exposing a flaw in you. They are exposing a flaw in themselves. When someone attempts to manipulate you, they are not demonstrating your weakness. They are demonstrating their own desperation. Machiavelli noted, "A wise man does what he must in the present to secure his future." Your sovereign mind functions on this principle. It anticipates betrayal, not out of cynicism, but out of preparedness. When you anticipate betrayal, disappointment loses its power. Train your mind to detect patterns, not just isolated events. The person who was dishonest once is fundamentally untrustworthy. The friend who gossips to you also gossips about you. Your sovereign mind sees everything as a lesson. Every dialogue is a study in human psychology. Every negotiation reveals a person's true motivations. Practice emotional detachment. When an event provokes anger, pause. Ask, what strategic information is this providing me? When you feel hurt, dissect it. What pattern is this revealing? A sovereign mind is not emotionless. It is emotion-proof. You still perceive feelings, but they no longer dictate your actions. Your choices are governed by logic. Your life is governed by strategy. Build your fortress. Make it impenetrable. Because once it is built, nothing from the outside world can ever touch the real you. Drop this affirmation in the comments. My mind is a fortress. My emotions are my intelligence. Number 3, master the currency of silence. The most talkative person in any given room is almost always the one with the least power. He speaks to mask his nervousness. He over-explains to hide his uncertainty. He debates to find the validation he craves. You will become his opposite. You will grasp that calculated silence is the ultimate exhibition of power. When you cease the need to justify yourself, something profound occurs. People's respect for you deepens. They stop challenging your authority. They stop probing your boundaries. They begin to treat you as someone who possesses knowledge they lack because you do. You know that your value is not contingent on their approval. You owe no one a justification for your life's direction. The instant you begin to defend yourself to a challenger, you surrender your power to them. Consider the most powerful individuals you know. Are they constantly explaining themselves? Arguing with detractors? No, they act. They establish their terms, and they move on. They speak only when it is impactful to do so. Machiavelli observed, "The lion need not roar to be feared." Silence makes you a mystery. When people cannot easily decipher you, they project their own assumptions of power onto you. They assume you are more strategic, more deliberate, and more powerful than you may actually be. They grant you influence you did not have to ask for. But here is the critical counterpart. When you do decide to speak, your words must land with the force of a hammer. Because you are selective, people will listen intently. Because you are economical with your words, each one is imbued with weight. Begin practicing strategic silence today. When someone levels a baseless accusation at you, do not rush to your own defense. Simply hold their gaze. When someone pressures you for information you are unwilling to give, do not invent an excuse. Simply state, "That is not your concern." Watch what unfolds. The individual accustomed to provoking a reaction from you will be left disarmed. They may escalate, desperate for the emotional response you once provided. When you deny them that, they will either retreat or expose their own instability. In either scenario, you prevail. Let other men drown the world in their noise. You will command it with your presence. Let them burn their energy on pointless debates. You will conserve yours for decisive action. Quiet men are powerful men, not because they are menacing, but because they are indecipherable. Let others wonder. Let them speculate. Your silence is your ultimate weapon. Wield it. Drop this affirmation in the comments. My silence is more potent than their words. Number 4. Convert betrayal into fuel. Embrace this truth, and it will shield you from a lifetime of bitterness. People will betray you. A trusted friend will prioritize their own agenda over your loyalty. A partner will choose personal gain over your shared vision. This is not cynicism. It is strategic realism. Once you internalize this fact, betrayal becomes a manageable event, not a catastrophic one. You are prepared for it. Most men are shattered by betrayal because they operate on flawed, idealistic assumptions about human nature. They trusted recklessly instead of observing keenly. They mistook pleasantries for integrity. When the betrayal comes, they crumble. They cannot comprehend it. They lose months, even years, replaying scenarios, searching for clues they missed. You will be different. You will anticipate these challenges and alchemize them into fuel for your ascent. Betrayal is dead. It is showing you who people truly are when the stakes are raised. It is stripping away the masks. Every betrayal carries with it a hidden gift, the gift of absolute clarity. Before the betrayal, you may have been uncertain about someone's character. After, you know with perfect certainty. Machiavelli wrote, "Men are fickle, ungrateful, and driven by self-interest. The man who understands this is never blindsided. He constructs his plans with the assumption that people will act according to their nature. But here is the secret that turns a wound into a weapon. Betrayal is evidence of your growth. People do not betray those they see as beneath them. They betray those who are rising above them. They betray people who possess something they covet. Every act of betrayal is a testament to the fact that you are becoming someone worthy of envy. When betrayal occurs, and it will react as a strategist, not a casualty. Do not squander your energy on nursing your wounds. Redirect that energy into your next move. What did this event teach you? How can this new intelligence be leveraged? What vulnerability in your own strategy did it expose? Sometimes, the most powerful response is to simply vanish from their life. No arguments, no final confrontations. Just a silent, complete removal. Other times, the best response is strategic patience. You log the offense, file it away, and wait for the opportune moment to use their own treachery to your advantage. Use betrayal as your curriculum. It will teach you who is worthy of your trust and who warrants your suspicion. The man who has weathered numerous betrayals and emerged stronger is infinitely more formidable than the man who has never been tested. Most men allow betrayal to make them bitter. You will allow it to make you brilliant, because when you have been let down by all and you still stand, when you have been abandoned and you still advance, when you have been betrayed and you still rise, that is the moment you know you are truly unstoppable. Number 5. Annihilate criticism with achievement. This is what weak men do when they are criticized. They debate, they defend, they justify. They expend valuable energy attempting to convert the opinions of people who are never open to conversion in the first place. This is what you will do. You will achieve on such a massive scale that their criticism becomes background noise. Your critics are not the issue. Your reaction to them is the issue. When you engage in arguments with your critics, you are elevating them to your level. You are communicating that their opinion is worthy of your time. Stop dignifying baseless criticism with a response. The way to silence your critics is not to win the argument. It's to win at life. When your accomplishments are louder than their complaints, their words evaporate. Machiavelli said, "One should never let his affairs be governed by chance." You can overwhelm criticism with undeniable results. You can smother doubt with relentless progress. Focus your resources on creation, not defense. Every moment spent debating a critic is a moment stolen from your own ascent. Let your actions be your argument. Let your success be your rebuttal. Asterisk, when people witness your continued success, their criticism will inevitably morph into envy. And envy is merely respect in disguise. The man who builds an empire does not stop to debate with those who have never laid a single brick. Your critics are an inevitability. This is not a problem that needs solving. It is a reality that must be accepted. Use their criticism as motivation. When someone insists you cannot do something, allow their doubt to fuel your resolve to prove them wrong through your actions, not your words. The objective is not to make everyone agree with you. The objective is to become so successful that arguing with you is futile. Annihilate their criticism with your excellence. Build something so formidable that their critiques seem petty and small. Drop this affirmation in the comments. My success is my only argument. Number 6. Engineer your reputation. Every person you encounter forms a judgment about you within the first few seconds. This judgment dictates the level of respect they afford you and the degree of power they perceive you to have. Most men leave this critical first impression to fate. You will seize control of it and wield it as a strategic instrument. Your reputation is not merely your resume or your appearance. It is the aura you project. It is the narrative that precedes you. First, speak less. Powerful men do not feel the need to fill every moment of silence. When you are economical with your words, people listen more intently when you finally speak. Mystery is a powerful magnet. Do not divulge your entire life story upon first meeting. Keep them guessing. Your reputation should enter a room before you do. People should be aware of your high standards before they even think to test them. As Machiavelli wrote, men are guided more by appearances than by reality. People judge you by what they perceive. Use this to your advantage. Engineer their perception. Your physical bearing communicates a story. Stand as if you belong in any room you enter. Walk with the unwavering purpose of a man who cannot be diverted. When chaos erupts around you, become the unshakable center of calm. Consistency is the bedrock of trust. Be the same man in victory and in defeat, in public and in private. Let your actions sculpt your legacy. When it is time to sever ties with someone, do so decisively and without looking back. When you must defend your position, become an immovable object. Be so competent at what you do that your excellence speaks for itself. Power without competence is mere posturing. Seize control of the narrative of who you are. You define your identity. You determine what you stand for. You dictate how you will be remembered. Your reputation is your shield. Your presence is your weapon. Your character is your fortress. Build it with intention. Defend it with ferocity. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I am the architect of my reputation. My presence is my power. Number 7. Make excellence your daily. Ritual. Excellence is not a performance you give on special occasions. It is a discipline you live by, every single day, especially when no one is watching. Most men reserve their best efforts for the big moments. But true excellence is forged in the small, unseen actions. How you force yourself out of bed when you are tired. How you handle minor frustrations. How you treat people who can offer you nothing in return. These moments are the crucible in which your character is formed. Comfort is the sworn enemy of excellence. The moment you become comfortable, you become predictable. And when you are predictable, you are manageable. And when you are manageable, you are invisible. Machiavelli believed, fortune favors the bold. Your daily disciplines are your personal arsenal. When you honor the commitments you make to yourself, you build an unbreakable foundation of self-trust. Your personal standards become non-negotiable. Forge your strength through discipline. Rise early. Train your body when it wants to rest. Tackle the most difficult task first. These are not merely good habits. They are the practice of excellence. Each time you choose discipline over ease, you are fortifying your mind. Other men will call you obsessed. They will tell you to lighten up. These are the same men who will be pleading for your help when their own undisciplined lives inevitably crumble. Let them have their comfort. You are choosing power. Let them have their fleeting pleasures. You are choosing lasting strength. You are choosing excellence. Make strength your daily habit and discipline your guiding principle. Because when the trials of life arrive, and they will, the disciplined man will conquer, while the comfortable man will be consumed. Number 8. Become unstoppable. This is the culmination. This is where you move beyond ordinary human limits and enter a state of being few men will ever experience. This is where you become truly unbreakable. To be unstoppable means that your internal state is completely insulated from external events. Criticism cannot touch your confidence. Betrayal cannot shatter your resolve. You have achieved what most believe to be impossible. Total freedom from the opinions and approval of others. This is not about being cold. It is about being strategic. You can still care for people, but you do not need their validation. Let them call you arrogant. Let them call you detached. Accept these labels as confirmation that you are on the right path. When lesser men cannot comprehend your strength, they will attempt to drag you back to their level. Do not descend. You no longer reside there. Your power now flows from self-mastery, not from controlling others. Your strength is generated internally, not bestowed by external praise. As Machiavelli wrote, "The one who conquers himself is the most powerful warrior." You achieve this state through radical self-sufficiency. You no longer require permission to be who you are. You no longer need cooperation to achieve your vision. This does not lead to isolation. It leads to selectivity. You now choose who is granted access to your world. The unstoppable man operates from a position of overwhelming abundance. He has so many pathways to success that he is never desperate for one particular outcome. When you become unstoppable, people will relentlessly test you, searching for a crack in your armor. Let them try. They will find nothing, because you have systematically reinforced every potential weakness. You have reconstructed your inner self. You have built a sovereign mind. You have mastered silence. You have converted betrayal into fuel. You have learned to annihilate criticism. You have engineered your reputation. You have made excellence a ritual. You have become something that defies normal classification. You have become unstoppable. You started this video as one man, and you are finishing it as another. The 8 pillars of unstoppable power are now yours. You are no longer the man who can be talked down to. You are the man who commands the room. You are no longer the man who settles for what he is given. You are the man who takes what he is owed. The man reading this conclusion is not the same man who read the introduction. You have been armed. You have been awakened. You have been made unstoppable. Your hesitant self has been vanquished. Your sovereign mind is online. Your silence is a loaded weapon. Your reputation is a shield. Your excellence is a daily certainty. You cannot be held back. You cannot be broken. You cannot be stopped. Now go and prove it.